Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this brand new episode of a brand new show. It's another collab video with the amazing guys from To Be Seen. And as you can see on the screen, guys, we got Joe Dove directly from Jersey. Is that correct?
Yes, all the way from dirty Jersey here, clean and fresh. I showered. Trust me. We got to do these things.
Fantastic. And of course, we have the irrepressible Rick with us as well.
Hey guys, how are we all? Good.
Mate, we're ready to go. And we're doing something today, guys, is really new, off the boil. It was an idea that came up a couple of weeks ago, and you guys were forgiving enough to give me the time to try the show out because we had such a great trailer reaction with the guys from To Be Seen that I thought, I wonder if they've seen a lot of Aussie movies. Coming from America, we as Aussies, at 90% of what we watch is American content, but doesn't work the other way. So I thought we would test this theory out with a brand new game that I'm calling Have You Seen? It's time to play Have You Seen This Aussie Movie? Okay, there you go. I had to make a cheesy.
I love that. Was awesome.
What's the point?
The voiceover
intro.
That voiceover guy. He's amazing.
Yeah. Who is he? Yeah, he's a pain in the butt. But yeah, okay. So this is what it is, and the concept's really easy, guys. What I'm going to do, I've got 5 films starting from the 80s all the way to the last decade, and I've picked out 5 Australian
my lifespan.
films.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, my life. Yeah. So, and with this, I haven't picked deep cut Aussie films. I've picked films that hopefully have been out there in the ether globally. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show a little bit of a clip. Not going to be any sound. I'll be talking over it. And we'll see if Joe's seen it. And if he's seen it, we're going to talk about it and talk about our memories and thoughts and feelings about it. And if he hasn't, me and Rick have 1 minute to sell this guy on why he needs to see this Aussie movie. So, guys, I don't think we're going to muck around here. Yeah. Let's get started.
Let's not muck about. Let's go.
Woo. Let's go. Ready to go.
Do it.
This movie, Razorback, 1984. This is what you would call a Jaws kind of concept where we have a killer wild boar going around killing and maiming people in the Australian outback. Now, it is in this time, in this series of the 80s films, every Australian movie had to have an American actor in it. And Gregory Harrison, who you might have seen there before from a TV show called John Trepper, MD, is the star of this movie. But what makes this movie so amazing is the filmmaking skill involved in this film. Director Russell Mulcahy, who become better known as the director of Highlander.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, this is one of probably his biggest Aussie film before he got his break in Hollywood. Wow. So it is an absolutely classic Australian film, well loved in Australia. Now I'll get rid of that poster right over your face there. Have you seen Razorback, Joe?
I have not seen Razorback.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Have you heard of it?
No, I've never even heard of it. No, I know Jaws.
No, this is actually one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite Aussie films.
Oh,
funnily enough, Quentin Tarantino, who's well known for loving Australian cinema.
Yeah,
this is one of his films he puts up there in the top, and you've got to agree with him because Russell Mulcahy, who directed this film, has a very interesting visual style, as you would know from Highlander. And with this, he's really playing it out in all its glory. Right. Just this eclectic visual style he has, the tension he builds up in the scenes. This is genuinely terrifying. This isn't a campy version of it. This isn't, I would say, even what you would consider B grade. This is a full tilt, very intense horror film. Rick, what do you think about this film?
Mate, all I can say, Joe, if you would think, because we were talking about before off air, is I know you guys are all on Mad Max. I would put this in like a cross between Mad Max, Deliverance, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So if you like those, you're going to love this movie.
You sold me on this. Now I got to go check this out. You got it. You did it. You did it. I want to go see.
There you go. So this is a movie you're interested in, Joe?
Yeah. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Deliverance, and come on.
Mad Max.
I would definitely throw Jaws in there as well because we are talking about a wild beast that is killing and maiming. So
and it's ironic. This is such a good movie to watch now because currently in the States and the southern states, so we don't really get it here in Jersey, but in the southern states, we're having an issue with appearance of wild boars that are attacking people. So
Oh, wow.
this is like, this is perfect.
This might be perfect to watch from educational purposes.
Yeah, I know what to do.
And
I did research.
I was up at Roxby Downs many years ago, which is a very outback Australia location, the middle of the country kind of thing.
Mhm.
I was witness to a couple of wild boars, and they are huge. I mean, I'm talking 12 feet long, and their bodies are probably as wide as a small car. Those things, if they did hit you, they would kill you. There's no doubt about it.
Well, it sounds like yours are a lot bigger than ours. We've had the rare occasions where they get that big, but usually the biggest they get is like 7 feet long, and their tusks get quite big. They get to about like, I know you guys have the metric system. So I'll say, 80 millimeters. Huh? Look at that. Pow, pow, pow. So, I mean, I don't fuck with them. So I leave them alone.
Oh, mate. Like, as you know, in Australia, all our animals, they're either really ginormous and they can kill you, or they're really tiny and they can kill you.
But either way, you're going to die.
Either way.
Either way. So if this is a film where you're worried about coming to Australia because of wild animals, maybe don't watch it. Otherwise, I highly recommend this film. But there we go. We got the first one down, and that was 1984.
1984. So
84.
I was very little, and I probably was watching... 84 was the first Ghostbusters. That's what I was big on at that time. Little me running around in diapers going, "Go Butters!" Because that's what it was at that time.
Absolutely. Rick, were you would have what, 5 at the time?
5 at the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember actually watching this movie when I got it from the video store.
Oh wow!
Video
Mate,
store guy.
I remember lining because I was 11 when this movie came out. I remember lining up for 2 hours to go see it at Hoyt's in our middle of our city. Yeah. It was at Hoyt's. Yeah, lining up for hours to go and see it. I mean, this was when you're 11 years old. This movie, I don't think people talk about. Oh yeah, Avengers Endgame and these big blockbusters that we have now. It was always the same. And in '84, everything was Ghostbusters. You couldn't go anywhere without Ghostbusters being somewhere, and deservedly so. I mean,
it was a great
classic.
Hey,
anyway, let's move on now. We're gonna get in the time machine, and we're gonna hit 88 miles an hour and jump right to 1990.
Oh,
and with this one, this is an Australian film which I would guess, Joe, you have not seen. Okay, so, but I never know. So let's just give it a go. What this movie is called. Now, this movie stars Ben Mendelsohn. That's correct. The villain from Rogue One as a young man, as you see right there.
Oh, wow.
In a great Australian comedy called The Big Steal.
The Big Steal.
And The Big Steal is about a young man there, as you can see, getting his first car. Wow. It is a wonderfully positive, uplifting, fun tale about a young man coming of age story. And, all he wants is to buy this really great car. And it's the adventure of one night, I believe, after he buys the car from a very dodgy car salesman you're seeing right there.
It's usually how it goes.
Look, this movie works on a great level because it's very John Hughes inspired feel to the film. Even though it's got the Australian look and feel, it's very much a teenage coming of age story and done in such the right way.
Yeah.
And directed by, you may have not seen this American film, but it was directed by Nadia Tass, who directed a film called Pure Luck. Did you ever see a film called Pure Luck, Joe?
No.
With Martin Shaw and Danny Glover.
Oh, wow. What a duo.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the concept of that film was Martin Short was unlucky with everything.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. Film.
Yeah. So it's a director
wow.
of that. Made in Tasmania, of all places.
Oh.
So that was, which I don't know if you know, the island of Tasmania, right at the bottom of the country.
Yeah.
It's a separate little, So, made in the farthest reaches of the planet. But very much matches that era of teenage kind of coming of age stories. So it'd be a joy to watch, Joe, because it still retains that entertaining kind of teenage coming age comedy, but still infuses a lot of Australian culture into it. So Rick, what did you remember about The Big Steal? What would you say to Joe?
It's a very relatable movie. You can actually, being those ages back then, you relate to Ben's character, and him and Claudia Carvin were fantastic together. The duo of those two were just great, which actually sell this movie. It has some funny moments, and it's got a lot of obviously Australian bits to it as well. But yeah, it's a beautiful movie. It really is. Great cinema quality. So yeah. Get on it.
Well, it's got that universal appeal. It doesn't matter where you come from. We all want to we all remember our story of our first car or buying that first ever shitbox, the car that breaks down.
Yeah, I've got a great story. Now, I've heard of this movie. I haven't seen it, but I have heard of it, The Big Deal.
Right. That's great.
People in my circle, one guy, he's a big global movie guy, and that's Billy. And I hope you're doing well.
Hey, Billy.
Changing the diapers at the VA hospital. But that's not his job. But he just gets coerced into doing everything. I know you're the tech guy, but we need help with the bedpan. So I think he might have mentioned it before because we actually saw Rogue One together. Cute little sob story. My mother is wheelchair bound. She had a really bad case of undiagnosed MS, so she can no longer walk. So as a token of my appreciation for her taking to all these films that I wanted to see as a child, her and my uncle, I took her to the movies, and we went with Billy and saw Rogue One, and then he had whispered about that. So that's what I remember hearing about that because Billy had seen it.
Amazing thing about Ben Mendelsohn's career is, as from Australians, we knew how talented this kid was way long ago. First time he appeared on a soap opera in Australia called Neighbours, and you knew then this kid had talent. And he appeared in a lot of really fantastic dramas in the 90s. So when he got his opportunity in America in the mid-2000s, he was starting to be seen. We couldn't be more prouder. He's just a hardworking actor, extremely talented, and sells every role he's in.
He's amazing. He's amazing. He was in the movie The King. He was in The King. He was the king before certainly going to be in Dune. Timothy Chalamet. And actually the guy who's going to be Batman was in there too. I don't know if you guys have you seen The King on Netflix?
I've seen bits and pieces, haven't watched it all.
Well, he was amazing in that too. I mean, I think any actor that can survive the animals and the water and all the little things and the big things that'll kill you in Australia, deserve to have a fantastic career here in America.
He's an incredible actor. He's also extremely funny, and that's the other reason I wanted to highlight this film, because it shows some of his maybe not. I mean, he's still very young, so maybe he isn't at his peak here, but he shows that he has got comedic chops. And if one thing I would love to see some more comedic performances from him, so you guys can see how funny this guy actually is. So, and it's also similar to another movie we'll be talking about coming up. So,
yes.
All right. And now we're going to move. We've done that one. So, Joe, just to say it, are you interested in seeing The Big Steal?
Yeah, I'm going to watch it.
Right. Fantastic. Nice. And what we'll do, Joe, we'll try to find where it is on streaming services for you and send you some links.
Perfect. I was just going to ask if that was available.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now back in that time machine, we now jump to 1997. Now, I would say, Rick, at this point, for Australia, this is probably the most famous comedy Australia has produced internally.
I would agree with that.
I mean, it broke all Australian box offices. It was a rare film for even in the 90s. Films didn't hang around long at the cinemas. This thing was at the cinema for 10 months.
Wow.
Which was incredible. It just built an audience and built it.
So it's Australia's Titanic.
This is
very much so. Very much so. It's one of those films where, before I start showing the clip, it is the dialogue has come in part of the ether. Like we quote lines. Every Australian will always quote these lines from this film. And so what we're talking about, is The Castle. So
Miramax.
Miramax, that would have been the American distribution. This is
there it is.
Basically what it's about a young family. Well, no, it's about a family who have this wonderful home. You can see very proud of their house, even though they live next to the airport. And the government decides they want to buy that land to build a development. So it's about this guy here, this gentleman fighting to keep his home. Like the government is offering money to relocate him, but no, he's going to fight the Australian courts all the way to save his home. Now, it's a beautifully funny comedy, and it's got, to me, some similarities with Mr. Smith Goes to Washington or any of those underdog kind of movies that you would have maybe seen over the time. It is known as an absolute classic here in Australia. Very quotable lines, fantastic comedic performances, and quirky characters pollute this film in such the best way possible. Directed by some very famous Australian comedian group called like Rob Stitch, and I can go forward, guys you probably wouldn't know, but it is probably the most accurate, Joe, example of a true standard Australian family. Would you not say that, Rick? Like the white Anglo-Saxon Aussie family, they nail it to a T with all our quirks, all our eccentricities. So this film, look, it is deeply loved by us Australians and is extremely funny. Funny enough that it actually got these guys noticed in America within the film industry quite a lot. And they were, definitely courted by Hollywood for a long time afterwards. Their following film, which they made a couple of years later, then started getting better quality actors like Sam Neill and so forth.
Oh, so, Sam Neill. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That's a household
One
name
really
here.
interesting thing about this film is it's the first film role of Eric Bana.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Where he plays a kickboxing obsessed boyfriend who's not very good at kickboxing.
That's right.
He wasn't very good at the Hulk.
No.
Let's not go there.
But he was amazing in Munich.
And he was
Munich is dope in that.
To this day, he's on the level with Ricardo Montalban as a Star Trek villain.
I was going to go down that pathway with you, mate. I mean, Rick wouldn't go like, when was he in Star Trek? No, he was the villain in the original Star Trek. So I thought he did a great job as that.
He was amazing. Nero.
Nero, the insane Romulan.
So good.
He's also in this list as well.
Coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We will be talking about Eric Bana a bit more going forward.
Oh, wow.
So, So, but he got his first start. Now, a lot of really talented people involved in making this film, and it is. I feel like it's Australia's secret, which we should be putting out there, because it's one of those. Put it this way: do you watch Ted Lasso, Joe?
Yes.
Yes. You know the feeling Ted Lasso gives you, that positivity, that good vibe, that almost characters are kind of innocent and oblivious of any negativity around them. This what that movie has that exact same time.
Wow.
So it makes you feel good watching it too. So that's what I would recommend.
I would say this depicts what Australians are all about. The little Aussie battler, you've got these big corporate companies and we don't give up, and he's got his little castle. It's something that he's worked hard for. And that's what a lot of Australians do here. We if something like that comes along, we work hard and do what we got to do. So I love this movie. Like Jay said, there's not probably, I don't know, there's a line that you could possibly say and everyone will know it. You know what I mean? There's a quote in this movie that everyone will know that you've done it. And you go, oh yeah, that's from The Castle, Such a beautiful movie. And we actually did a trailer reaction to this, guy. So check that out as well if you want to see the trailer.
We did too. We did.
Yeah.
It's not the first time I'm trying to get people to watch this movie outside of Australia.
We did, All
right.
So this one for you, Joe, maybe something I was like, okay, it's a comedy, it's all that. So far, if I was to say what's the first film to watch out of the three that we've just talked about, this would be the one to watch first.
Really?
This is how much I rate this film.
Wow. Okay. Well, I definitely want to see it. I'm going to have you guys link me to that too.
Absolutely. We're going to send you links to all this stuff. We're going to make sure you get to see these films if you haven't seen them.
Yeah.
And now the next movie we're going to talk about is the one I hope that you have seen, because I think it's the one that really the Americans probably would have gotten to see. So here we go. We're going to now go 2 years later, I believe. Is it 99 or 97, Rick?
2000.
2000. I was off by, it's 2000. So we're jumping in 3 years to basically the film that helped define two careers. And what I'm talking about is, and we'll drum roll, please. I want to kind of give it away. Here it is. Chopper.
Oh,
there is
Eric
Bana.
Bana.
Eric Bana. Yeah.
First starring performance as the real life criminal. Criminal. I don't know if he was a mastermind, but criminal legend in Australia, and he was Chopper Read. This is based on autobiographical novels from the real Chopper Read, who was involved in the filming and personally picked Eric Bana to play this psychopath. And this guy is a psychopath. Without giving away any spoilers, it's well known in Australia. He was extremely well known in the underground. He was one of these guys. He had his own kind of set of rules and ways of going about things. He had actually honor and a code, even though it was messed up. But he was a psychopath about it. He cut off his own ears in prison.
Whoa!
Yeah, cut off his story why he cut those off.
Yeah, that gets played out.
I'm assuming it's so they couldn't grab him.
Yeah, no. It was also for him to try to get put in the nut center. So away to get out of normal population.
Clever.
Yeah.
This is. I'm sorry. Once you see this film, you'll never ever see Eric Bana as anything else but Chopper. Because it is so intense, so funny, so disturbing. It is just this unbelievable film that will just get you locked into the seat. Now, I talked about 2 careers this is launched because this is the movie, Joe, that got Eric Bana the Hulk. Yes. They saw this performance, they gave him the movie Hulk. But it's also the director, Andrew Dominic. Now, do you know that name by any chance?
No.
Well, the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
Oh, yes.
Killing Them Softly, which was another great film that he's also directed. But there have been his 3 kind of major films. But it launched these 2 guys and got them noticed in Hollywood. This film, Rick, it's intense, right? I mean, it is intense. I mean, we deal with some real dark subject matter in this movie.
Yeah, you do because it was so well known here, especially like because of the whole gangland stories back then. Especially what happened in Melbourne and Sydney and all that. So it's very, very relatable to a lot of people. And Chopper is known everywhere in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, he was I don't know how you could compare him to because there's probably lots of examples.
He's passed away now.
He eventually died of cancer.
He did
only a few years ago. But why he's also very famous because he had the charisma. He could get in front of a screen, he could talk, and he could charm people. So it made him even more dangerous because he would flip on a dime.
I think he got he killed like 15 people or something like that. But he only got convicted for like 1 or 2 murders.
Yeah,
he was very clever.
Very dark. But like I said, it's also quite funny because Chopper in real life was a very funny guy. Eric Bana, who I don't know if you know this, but Eric Bana had his start in Australian TV in a sketch comedy series.
Oh,
like an SNL type of thing.
Really?
He was famous in Australia for years for being a comedian.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's amazing. He's a very talented, funny guy. So this film, they were able to bring that skill set he had and then give him an opportunity to do dramatic, storytelling. And it's incredible. And Rick, do you remember first seeing this? Because I do.
Oh, yeah. Jeez. I don't think I went to the cinemas and saw this. Oh, no, I did.
No. You did?
I reckon I did. I don't know who I was with, but yeah. And it was just so well told. Everyone was just going on about, have you seen this movie? And then Vince Colosimo. And then he was so great in this, Vince Colosimo. Loved him in this. But then it was just those one-liners that everyone starts, telling you about, with those scenes and how graphic it was. Because a lot of people, if you didn't know who Chopper Read was, you'd go into this movie and like, oh, wow. And then you go, oh, shit, he wrote all these books. He did all this stuff. And then you just go out and just look at his history and see what he deep dive and what he actually did. So,
but it's not just about the characters, is it, Rick? This film works because it moves at a good pace. It is entertaining. You are not bored. You are locked in with this film at a level that sometimes Australian films can't do. So for me to close this up, if the castle is the light, positive side of Australia,
this is the dark underbelly.
The flip side, the dark underbelly.
And it's funny that it made Eric Bana because there's another actor who had a similar moment in time, and he was in a movie that thought was going to uplift his career, and just change his life. And also in Star Trek, he thought this Star Trek film was going to be the blockbuster that made him onto the mainstream, but it wasn't. It wasn't Star Trek that did it. It was a movie called Bronson. And if you haven't figured it out, I'm talking about Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy played this mafioso, crazy maniac. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Bronson.
Yes.
But it sounds like there's a lot of parallels between the two.
Very much so. It is absolutely. And by the way, like, why have I gone blank on his name from Nemesis? I didn't mind him. That movie has its problems, and we will get into a Star Trek chat one day, Joe, about it. But he was, even then, the skinny version of Tom Hardy. He was good then, wasn't he?
He was a good villain.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great example there, Joe, of something that is kind of parallel. So if you're thinking of Bronson,
this is Australia's Bronson
ballpark.
Yeah. We have what is it? Goodfellas. That's our version of it. About one of the mafiosos that had some funny moments, but it's one of our most iconic cinema events that delved into the mafia.
I think Rick, we would both say we've probably both seen it 40 times.
Oh, I
like Goodfellas, anything Scorsese, mate. From Mean Streets upwards, I've seen it. I'm obsessed with Scorsese.
Gotcha.
And Goodfellas
cool.
is just. And Goodfellas, you're right. You know, that is actually a really funny film. But why? But you know, people go, "Oh, what?" It's just, But the comedy comes as a relief to this dark, sinister story that's being told.
Yeah.
So when you do get those moments of levity, you really embrace them, and they're enhanced more because you don't know what Pesci's going to do next. So,
and that's
you know what I mean.
This is based on a true event too. The Goodfellas is a real story. That's Henry Hill, who just recently passed away also from cancer. So a lot of parallels with the three of these movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, the next film, I really wanted to end it on a happy note, Joe, but unfortunately I'm going completely opposite. And this is actually a personal film probably to me and Rick. We know people around this true story.
Oh.
And it happened in our hometown.
Wow.
And I'm just about to play it now. It came out in 2011.
Oh,
and the movie that I'm talking about, if it's going to play for me, is a movie called Snowtown.
Oh, I saw this.
Oh, you saw this?
Yeah,
you saw this.
Yeah,
this happened.
Wow!
In our
city. My God! Yeah.
Oh my God! I can't believe we got a movie.
Wow, we got one.
Yeah, I saw.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like
happy days
up behind me right now. Snowtown. What did you think?
Streamers. Oh, So the funny thing about me is, aside from loving pop culture stuff, I also have a distinct love of true crime, and the reason for that is my I don't know if you guys ever. It's going to get a little dark, but there was a serial killer named what's his name? David Berkowitz. Yeah. So my grandfather was a lieutenant of police. I wasn't born, but my grandfather was a lieutenant of police during that time, and he was on one of the bridges that Berkowitz would travel to go, because he lived in not too far from where I lived. No relation, but he lived in a town called Yonkers, right next to the Devil-y park called Untermeyer Park, that was made by and bought from the city of Yonkers by three Sams, Samuel Untermeyer and two other Samuels. So all these Sams, and this guy lived on the other side of the park. I never noticed why they didn't connect those two things. And apparently there's a small cave system underneath that park where the son of Sam or other folks that worship the devil used to do seances there. But I digress. So my grandfather had notes when I was taken apart. He used to be a policeman. He ended up getting sick. He started to transition into real estate after the son of Sam murders. But as a lieutenant of police, and with that whole murder spree going on, he was very curious about the people coming back and forth.
Yeah.
He had notes on some of the folks that he was suspicious of being the son of Sam killer. And I found his notes, and I unfortunately discarded them, but he wrote down some license plates, and I never understood until I saw the documentary on the son of Sam, and I'm thinking, oh crap, that's what my grandfather was trying to do.
That is amazing.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, this story here, which was set in Australia, which was which happened here in Adelaide, Rick.
And that's where
We
you guys
actually
live.
know-
That's crazy.
That's where
we
we live,
actually know people who live
Ooh.
right behind them.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
And I know someone
Yeah.
else who lived 2 houses down from them as well. So I know people who knew of the situation and knew of that guy. You know, I had, a mate I know said to me, look, he would walk into a room and you would feel that was evil walking into a room.
Oh man.
Like
So-
you just felt this guy and you bolted because you just didn't want anything.
Did you guys meet him? Did you guys know him? Like
No.
no.
Luckily, not. Otherwise, we would
crossed
be in a
paths
battle in
somewhere.
a bank somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And, then
And you know why he did it, though?
proceeded-
His little cartel that he kind of created. You know what was behind it? Is the fact that they were going to claim their welfare. So they were killing people, putting
it was a scheme.
dismembering them, putting the bodies in the barrel, taking them to the bank in Snowtown in a vault. But they were doing it basically, really, at the end of the day, for their welfare payments.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it wasn't at the time they were doing it. It's just before the digitization of that entire welfare system.
That's probably
So
why
you
they
were
did it.
able to get away with it without being, and it was
Wow.
horrific. It was
Yeah,
absolutely
The
horrific.
bank's still there in Snowtown.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
drive
yeah.
through the country. The bank's still
Haven't
up
knocked it
there.
down.
Everything's
Yeah,
still
they
there.
haven't knocked it
No,
down.
no.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And
And-
so they filmed it here. They filmed it in the exact locations, the same
Wow.
streets, everything. So it is probably one of the most, I would say, one of the more accurate kind of films made that are based on a true story where they've gone to the places and filmed inside the locations, out
Wow.
on the streets.
And
As you
used
know,
some of the
Joe,
body
this-
parts left over. No.
Yeah. As you know, well, that would have been a real kangaroo they cut up and threw on there. unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez,
yeah. But we
geez.
eat kangaroo here, dude, so it's all good.
We do.
Oh,
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Very high in protein.
Yeah, we
It's
do.
great
We do.
to me.
It's-
Yeah, we
yeah.
eat kangaroo.
have you guys ever heard of venison?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We
I've
do
had
the same
venison.
thing. We kill deer and eat the deer.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
kangaroo and deer are around probably the same type of. I mean, not the same
A
species.
little bit
obviously.
gamey.
Yeah,
The meat's a taste a little bit gamey, but
yeah.
very high in protein, good for you. Yeah,
Right, but there's an overabundance of kangaroo, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. But like we had footage the other day in one of our main streets. So if you imagine, say, the suburb just out of the main Manhattan or something over in America,
Mhm.
kangaroos in the
Just
middle of our kind
Hopping
of
around.
inner city, hopping around on
doing
the
its thing.
streets.
Yeah, and
All
deer
the
do the
time.
same thing. We had a deer running on the highway as I was going because I take the bus into Manhattan where I work,
Yeah.
in the big epicenter of the world, and
Yeah.
a deer was just scooting along the highway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
deer are kangaroos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Except what I will say, if you've seen some of our kangaroos, mate, they are jacked.
Jack-
Oh, yeah, I
Pure
saw.
muscle and
I saw.
sinew.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well,
And they
Oh,
can
go,
rip you
yeah.
to pieces in a second.
oh yeah, I saw. Don't they have like little digits?
Yeah, like the kind of claws, but they will shred you. But
Oh, they'll
it's basically
shred you
them getting
too?
on their
Oh,
tail
shit.
with their
then
legs.
they'll push you.
That's where they'll
Oh,
kill
And then
you.
you just
Haven't
yeah,
you
on
ever
your
seen
ass.
that
We-
meme of there's a kangaroo attacking a dog and a guy runs in from camera and punches the
I've seen
ends
that.
up having a
yeah.
boxing, punches.
Yeah.
We had to, man, because that kangaroo was gonna kill that dog.
Do they do that a lot? Like,
Yeah.
like it's,
Yeah,
really?
people have been killed. A lot of people have
Ooh.
definitely been shredded to death. You know.
Wow. So another.
Did you just culture know it? They've known it for 40,000 years,
Christ.
and they know
Yeah.
to stay the hell away.
Wow.
the big reds, the big red kangaroos.
Big
They're
reds,
just-
mate.
yeah.
And
Wow.
The
they're
big
what,
reds.
8 feet? They're 8 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, holy
Maybe
shit!
300
They're
kilos.
jacked.
that
They're
big?
like, yeah,
Whoa.
they are jacked. They're like they go to the gym, start
Crazy.
pumping
They're
iron.
scary,
mate.
mate.
They're like,
One of the best videos that I've seen regarding kangaroos was this guy was like doing a parachute, like skydiving or something. He was parachuting down, and this kangaroo saw him, and he like was making these motions, like "Come here, I'm gonna get you." And then literally when he landed, the kangaroo like rolled up on him because he had like a GoPro, in his hand, and you see just the hand of the kangaroo just grabbing his GoPro, and he had to like just get away. It was amazing. It was amazing.
I mean, they look so. And again, we don't,
look
there seems to be a
cute.
moment we were talking about Australian animals, but that's the problem with Australian animals. They look cute.
They'll fuck you
But
up.
they'll kill you.
and they'll,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. They will fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
the
you-
cuter the animal, the more terrifyingly scary they are.
The more deadly they are.
Yeah. So
No, you've
crazy.
seen Snowtown.
Yeah.
Did it for us, all right? And I want to go back into it because for us, once I saw the film, it hung with me for a long time because
Same.
Oh, yeah.
Same. It was
connection.
such a not because of the personal connection.
Yeah, but I that's what I was gonna. I'm glad to hear you say that, Joe, because that's what I was interested in.
Well,
I mean, I think it was by design and execution from the filmmakers,
right.
but it was one of those films that sat with you for a few days.
Oh yeah.
Couldn't kind of shake it off. You know, that scene with the dog when he, wants to kill the dog, the bathroom scene, and I mean, it goes on and on and on and on with that film. And
he was awful, that guy.
Yeah, and the real deal. And you know what? They softened him up a little bit for the film.
Really? He was even worse?
Yeah, if you read some books and get into the true crime of it, that guy was an unbelievable animal.
Oof.
Yeah, creepy guys, you know.
So they had a couple of really screwed up schemes here in the States regarding welfare, to the point where some of these senators get a little crazy and we're like, we're going to drug test everybody on welfare. Well, why would you drug test everybody on welfare? Well, because I own the drug test company that's doing this. There's always some other scheme, but one guy, he kept his neighbor in her apartment because she was getting AARP or some type of retirement income, Social Security. He ran a Social Security scheme, but she was also on welfare. So he was doing the double scheme. So he would go in and be like, "Oh, she's not feeling well. Let me just do this for her." And he ended up like scheming something like $2,500 US from her in like 2 months, and she was dead. But he didn't kill her; she just died in her apartment. So he acted like she was there, and he like would use her like fingerprints. He would get the accounts and everything, and ran a scheme like that for a while. I think he ended up doing like $2,500 a month. So
that's crazy. How long? It makes you think. Like at any point in their functioning of their brain, did they not think, "Well, this can't last forever"?
Yeah, like, well, what's your end game?
What was the end point? What was the way to get off that train and get away with it? Yeah. But of course, if they thought like that, they wouldn't do that.
Right. So. But the thing with that movie, it was filmed in such a gritty way that it just kind of lingered with you in a unease that like you kind of want to just go, and I leave this to my friend from the Haunting season, Josh Sterling. You're gonna want to go and watch The Office because it's just like that first time you see Deliverance. That's what I akin it to. You know what I mean? It's just it's so disturbing that you're just like, I gotta watch something funny because I'm in a bad place right now. And what I love what the director did was because he had those real gritty. He kind of like made the surrounding area another character in the film. And that's what I love about that movie is.
Yeah, I think you're right. Justin Kurzel, the director, what he did, he found a certain visual motif in the film by utilizing local areas, but probably like the worst of the worst. What you saw there would be considered our slums. They're the worst area in our state. Is that what you saw in that film? And for him to be able to take those imagery and create that visual motif that kept the tension going is pure genius. I mean, I don't know what he's doing now. Actually, I haven't followed his career since then. But I know, I mean, there's a local lad, Borden Gawler. What else would he do? Filmography. I'll actually cheat right now.
Is that house still around or they knocked that down? That one?
No, I believe they've been knocked down. Rick and put up. Yeah, clearly. They were knocked down about a year after the film's release because the government saw the film and didn't react and went time to redevelop.
The government was like, we need to watch The Office. This is horrible.
Well, they were worried. Our government worried about how we're perceived because of that.
But can you imagine the people who have that house on that land now? They've built a house on that land.
Oh, man. I don't think they're going to build a house. They're probably going to make an Amazon center or something.
Probably.
It's a koala. It's a
very
kangaroo center.
That area where they shot that film was a very like I said, our slums probably for people who are on the lowest of the socioeconomic scale. But now, because of expansion in our state and the population growth, that area is being, and our housing prices has gone through the roof recently. We're heading to a 2008 situation here in Australia.
Shit. Wow. We're the reverse.
And they've modernized a lot of the area. So and what they're doing, unfortunately, is those people who are living in those houses are being pushed out further into the country to allow the middle class to be able to establish lives out there because it's cheaper to live out there.
Wow.
So So it's certainly, I'm glad they captured that side of the storytelling when you talked about the visuals, because it is a piece of our history, a very dark piece of our history, a very sad one. I don't think you don't get really a lot of joy out of that movie or the situation.
No, but I've seen it.
Yeah. I mean, the weird thing was we were watching it on the nightly news unfold.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, you're seeing that, and then you're hearing stories like, oh, I used to live behind them. Or, I lived to people knowing of them. And, so
I was actually there on, when was it? The Friday. I was there on Friday. I was in Snowtown because I had to drive up that way for work.
Snowtown. Yeah.
Went up that way through to work because it's through the country and all that. And it hits you. It hits you. As soon as you see that sign,
see that name.
Snowtown, you're just like, shit.
I don't know why they don't just change the name of the town at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because,
like I said, the bank's still there. Everything's still there.
I would call it global warming town, maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Australians have a really great habit of naming things that are totally inappropriate for the environment. It is a dusty, hot town, which they've called Snowtown. It hasn't seen snow in probably since a million years ago.
Since the Ice Age. Yeah. Wow.
So that's it, guys. 5 films that we chose. Let's go back over them again quickly to establish the 5 films that we've recommended. 4 of them you hadn't seen. 1 you had.
One.
I'm thrilled to see one of them. And of course, that was the first one. Is sorry, Joe. I'm just putting these posters over your face.
All good, all good. Yeah.
We got Razorback,
which
I
love that poster.
That's the one I want to watch first. Yep.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Poster. But then follow it up with a big still, funny film, really sweet and enjoyable. The Castle.
There it is.
A classic Australian film, must watch. The Chopper, dark, disturbing. Yeah, very good fellas.
Watch that one as well.
That's great.
I'm definitely.
And then obviously the movie we just talked about, Snowtown.
Yeah.
And they were the 5 films that we discussed today. That was, as we call it, the. It's time to play. Have you seen this Aussie movie? I just wanted to play that again. Sorry.
I love it. It's good.
It's the voiceover.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
But there you go, guys. That was the show. I hope you enjoyed that joke because I loved coming up with the films. You gave me an excuse to go back and really think about Aussie cinema and try to come up with a list that wasn't like, no way would you have seen that, to something, hopefully. And 1 out of 5 ain't too bad in my books.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that was amazing.
How about you, Rick? Did you have a good time?
I did, because we haven't seen so a lot of those movies, and some of them now I'm just like, you know what, I want to go and watch that. And now I want to go and watch Chopper because I haven't seen it in such a long time. I want to go watch that again because it's just such a great movie.
Right,
so
I've got 4 movies I can't wait to see. Man. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Well, I'd like to do this again with you, Joe. Maybe if we can get some other people involved as well.
Yeah,
we'll come up with some more movies.
Yeah, and we had a DVD expert on the show years ago. The show didn't last very long, but T-Bird, he was he ran a movie, one of those old, I don't know if you guys had them in Australia, but the old Great American type video stores where like before Blockbuster,
the mum and pop stores. I think you guys have heard of that. Yeah. Like local owners who own video shops always had the better movies.
Yeah. So he might have seen some stuff. So I'm going to try to get him.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. And this time I'll try to balance it with, I'll go a little bit deeper cut, but I'll get some films hopefully.
We had a few that, like, we changed the list. Jace changed the list.
What was the film?
Bad Boy
the one
Bubby
film
was
that
one.
I pulled out. I don't want you to announce it because we'll use it for next time, Rick. All right. But that one, and I will give you a teaser. It brought Russell Crowe to prominence. It's probably his first biggest film in Australia.
Wow.
That's a tease for when we do this next time.
Oh, awesome. So, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Mate, you're an absolute pleasure. This was a blast. And hopefully this is going to begin. We're going to do way more collabs together as we go along. Maybe just the show. We'll do other things. It'll be really great fun.
You guys got to come on you got to come on the 2B scene.
Yeah, absolutely. We would love to. We've been waiting. I've been checking the letterbox every day, Joe. I haven't gotten the card yet. So once you're there, we'll be there, won't we, Rick? Of course. Anytime.
Awesome.
Sure.
All right. I'm excited. Guys. I'm going to applaud it.
Excellent. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Rick. And we'll see you guys next time on Have You Seen This Aussie Movie?